Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. We have got plenty coming up on the show. We've got a bit of rugby, got a bit of SANFL, got the high performance manager of the SANFLW, Robbie Neal, in for a chat. And of course, it was a ripping weekend for South Australia in the footy, with the Crows getting a win over Geelong and Port Adelaide, of course, over North Melbourne. So I welcome my co-host, Barry Coote, to the show. Baz, how are you?
Good, mate.
It was a great weekend. I know you don't want to start with it, but we need to start with the Crows first because they played first over Geelong. Could anyone have predicted it?
Did they win?
It was a fantastic win too.
Really?
It was a fantastic
it was a
win.
Good win,
I thought the Crows were going to struggle this year, so full credit to them. The two pre-season games against Power, they didn't look like they were going any good. We were hoping the momentum of last year might have got them going, but that was a second guess. I don't think anyone could have said you're going to play a team that finished second last year and you finished down the bottom end, that you're going to get a win in the fashion that they did.
Well, if you're going to get the team from second from last year, good to get them round one.
Yep.
Really.
Yep.
Not round 12 or something like that. So yeah, look, take nothing away from them. They played well. Adelaide played well, but
terrific. They were terrific.
I thought Geelong were average. But see, now I got asked the other day about my top four.
Yep.
Give me your top four, Baz. Right, here's my top four: Port, Richmond, St Kilda, Brisbane. And the person who asked me that question said to me, "Where's Geelong?" Mm-hmm. Well, Geelong aren't in there.
So you got them in the top 8?
Yes.
Okay.
But only in the top 8, not top 4.
You got the Crows in the top 8?
No, I haven't. No. Now look, don't get me wrong here. They played the Crows played well.
Yep.
They're at Adelaide Oval. They were allowed to get a bit of momentum. Once you get momentum in the AFL, then boom, you're going to be hard to beat.
I agree with that.
They played well, and a couple of young blokes who I thought were very average in the pre-season played well. A couple of defenders, Butts, a couple of those blokes had really good games. You know the funny part, mate? If you look at the ties of a tipping competition, big full page. It's a big full page. All these tipsters they've got.
Yep.
You know, you've got blokes who sweep the streets, and it's just ridiculous.
They've got a lot of tipsters.
Annette Edmondson. Now she's
cyclist.
an Australian cyclist,
yep.
And a very good one.
Yep.
I'm going through there, and boom, Adelaide. She picks Adelaide over Geelong.
It might be a Crows.
And I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Crows supporter?
Well, because it was the only one
Could
on the
whole page. Could be a Crows ambassador.
Well, that's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point, could be. But I'm going down, no one else tipped them in the whole page.
Yep.
So I go through the Port North Melbourne games, and boom, no one tips North Melbourne except Annette Edmondson.
So where are you going with this?
Where am I going with it?
I know, I've got an idea.
I tell you where I'm going with it. Annette's a Port hater. That's where Mum and Dad were a Port hater. So they've passed it on to young Annette, who says, I'm not tipping Port, so I'm going to tip North Melbourne. So when the Crows got up and beat Geelong, I thought she's either the best tipster in the history of the game, or she's the worst.
Well, we'll find out as the season unfolds.
North Melbourne was, come on, you can't tip North Melbourne.
Well, the first quarter wasn't too bad. Let's talk about that. Just in closing on that, I think full credit to Nixie and the Crows. It was outstanding.
I agree.
What it may show, and you'll never know this, and we saw it a result, Brisbane-Sydney, very similar like. I've got a couple of theories, and we always have a couple of theories when we've coached, but I suspect that Geelong have turned up with the wrong attitude. They've disrespected the Crows and gone, we're only playing the Crows, first game, everything will be okay. We're better than them, all we got to do is turn up.
And it looked like
the Crows have got up and got going, and then they've gone, gee whiz, we need to start playing. But at that stage, the Crows have got self-belief going. And then they can't catch them.
They can't catch them.
So I think when you get to elite sport, part of becoming an elite athlete is learning to respect your opposition at all times, and be ready to play every time you come out. So I reckon it's going to be tough because I know they've got Brisbane this weekend. I reckon they're going to be real gnarly, both teams.
The Cats,
so I reckon that'll be a good game. Port Adelaide, North Melbourne. First quarter, North Melbourne looked like it was a pretty good contest. Then Port said, you know what, we need to put the afterburners on and see you later.
A spray?
Yep.
They got a Kenny spray.
Well,
that's not bad, is it? Round one, quarter one.
Yeah, he's given a bit of a spray. But let me ask you this. Was Charlie Dixon the one that opened it up for him? Big Charlie, 2 quick goals. He was involved in another couple. I mean, he is such a presence and a barometer for that forward line. And you go, wow.
It's got to be the most dangerous forward line in the comp. I don't care what anyone says. If you start throwing in
I'll tell you who was
Butters,
quick. Fantasia, pretty quick.
Well, mate, Fantasia.
So Alira, I don't know how those two got away. I don't know how
did they get away?
I don't know how those guys get away.
Especially Alira. I mean, even Fantasia. I mean, the Essendon people must be looking back going, oh my God, where's he? Why isn't he?
Well, sometimes you get in a program where you play with different players, a different style. And it suits you. So well done by Port Adelaide as well. I think it was a terrific win by them. We'll get to the end of the show and we'll go through the lineups and matchups that's coming up other than the Thursday night game. Tokyo Olympics has just announced that there'll be no fans allowed at Tokyo. So the people that have bought their tickets, money refunded, and no crowds. What's that mean?
No crowds means no records.
No records?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, if you run into a stadium and you're in the 800 metre final.
Yep. No roar of the crowd.
You've got to miss that roar. You have to miss it. You can't. Because people at that level, Phil, would not have run around an oval or whatever in front of no fans, ever.
Well, if you listen
always have massive fans.
If you listen to the players after the game, whether it was Adelaide, Melbourne, wherever they were playing, all said, it is so good to have the fans back. Exactly, and it wasn't the token one, we've got to say it because they're the fans.
No.
There was an unbelievable sincerity about, thank goodness you're back. Because we hated last year. All of them said it.
Jack Rewalt said
you might be on something there.
Well, I just think that in that last, say, 50 metres of the 800 metres, when that roar comes up, that they're looking at the world record time, and you're in front. Now, you don't tell me that 50,000 people wouldn't put a little rocket up your bottom and get you to the line quicker.
Yeah, no
it will. It's adrenaline.
You'll see a couple of records fall just purely because the athletes are so much better. But I agree with you. You won't see the big numbers that we've seen in previous Olympics.
I think you'd struggle. I would struggle running into a stadium.
Well, your point that is most valid is the one that they're not used to competing at that level in front of
nobody.
Without a crowd. Just quickly, Greg Norman's coming back to Australia. Him and his current wife have said that's it. Yeah. Australia's the place we want to be. 66 years old. He still looks like he's in ripping shape, the Shark. So he had to sell his two places, mate. He sold one in Colorado, and of course he had the other one in Florida. Sold them both. Put it all together, $77 million. So he made a profit on the two houses when he bought them, sold them later. Just a quiet $39 million. So I reckon he might be able to pick up a little place somewhere here in Australia.
I don't think he'll be looking for a job.
No, I reckon he'll go back to Queensland. That's home.
Oh, he'll be in Queensland.
Yeah, I reckon he'll get a fair spread.
And do you know what else that I see in that, mate? You know what else I see in that? Hopefully, someone getting their act together and getting a major tournament back in Australia. That's what I want to see. Because
the Greg Norman major.
Well, think about it. Matt Jones won on the weekend.
Did too.
Eh?
Yeah, did well.
One of the oldest Australians.
Absolutely.
Won the Honda.
Yep.
Good on him, mate.
7 years since we had an Aussie win something.
He's a different player, mate. He's a different player to all the other players in the competition because he walks up to the ball and just hits it. He doesn't go up and go, right, get all the waggle going. He just walks up and goes bang.
Happy Gilmore without the run-up. Okay, we need to get over to Chelsea for the news. Chelsea, what have you got for us?
Thanks, guys. I'm Chelsea and I'll be bringing you your sporting news update for this week. Well, it was a phenomenal start to the 2021 AFL season, with both South Australia teams scoring a win. Port Adelaide smashed North Melbourne by 52 points, while at home, Adelaide caused a huge upset against last year's runners-up, the Geelong Cats, by 12 points. Crowds were electric at the final siren, with the win being an unexpected one for the struggling side. Tomorrow, the Crows will try to keep their momentum going when they play Sydney Swans at the SCG. And Port will play Essendon at Adelaide Oval. Best of luck to them both. On to the W League now, where Adelaide United have celebrated an important win over the Western Sydney Wanderers at Cooper Stadium on Sunday. The girls started slow but ended the game with a 2-point lead. Not only did United win, but they also broke a crowd attendance record for the league, with over 5,000 supporters coming to watch. United's finals hopes are out of their hands as they have a bye this week, but I'm sure they'll be watching the other games very carefully. It's so good to see so many people out there supporting the girls. Jockey Ryan Hurdle is having an incredible month following 4 wins on the weekend. He almost made it 4 from 4 races but came close second on Bar Gem. He currently has a strike rate of 27% after securing 10 wins from 38 races in the last month. Well, that's all we have time for this week. I'll be back next week with another sporting news update. Back to you, Phil and Barry.